The antigen tests are provided free for people. There can be absolutely no barriers to people using antigen tests and ensuring that those precautions are being put in place.
Investigators say they initially think either driver error or a technical problem caused a bush crash in western Bulgaria, killing at least 45 people. 12 of those who died were children. The vehicle carrying tourists from North Macedonia caught fire around 20 miles west of the capital, Sofia. Bulgarian Interior Minister Boyko Rashkov says survivors had to leap from the burning vehicle.
The scene is horrifying, and not everyone can bear the sight of it. It's horrifying. Details of the tragedy will be cleared in the process of investigation. It isn't to be watched. It isn't to be watched.
It's 9:02.
News Talk weather.
Thanks to Ryanair. See friends and family this Christmas. But hurry, seats are selling fast.
Mainly dry tonight with some mist and fog patches in parts of the south. Rain extending eastwards from the northwest later tonight. Cold with lowest temperatures of -2 to +2 degrees. And now you're up to date on News Talk.
Your chance to win big. News Talk's cash machine.
We had another winner in the News Talk cash machine this afternoon. We're very happy to say we're in a nice little run at the moment. It was Helen Ward from Raheny in County Dublin. Helen knew the correct amount was €7,523.38 when Barry Dunn called her just after 3 o'clock today. So well done, Helen. Congrats. There'll be another chance to win tomorrow when we open the cash machine for business once again. News Talk breakfast just after 8 a.m. is when you'll find out just how much you could win.
The Football Show on Off the Ball.
With Sky. Watch every UEFA Champions League and Europa League match live on BT Sport this season.
I'm prepared to do anything I can to play for my country again.
Do it then. What about your start to the game?
It wasn't bad, was it?
Why should an honest answer be a mistake?
How can a modern day manager not have a mobile phone?
Why should he?
Now, welcome along to the Football Show. Loads going on, loads to talk about. I am very happy to say Mr. Dan McDonnell of the Irish Independent here in studio as well. Hello.
Hello, Joseph.
Dan.
How are things?
Good. How are things with you?
Sure.
Great to have you in the studio.
It is on the Tuesday. We're still in that phase, aren't we? Yeah.
We had Brian Kerr on earlier on.
Again.
Yeah, so I know you're obviously going to be building up to the FAI Cup final. Tickets going very well.
They are. Yeah, they're good. I mean, the 36,000 is the highest. I think you might have made reference to this earlier. The 36,000 is the highest since they went back to the Aviva. Or since the game sort of moved to the Aviva in 2010, and there was 33,000 in 2019, and they're at 30,000 at the moment. So you would think with the walk-up crowd, they've got a good chance now. I mean, obviously people are maybe a bit conscious of COVID stuff. Chelsea Man U was on Sunday, which isn't the ideal clash, and there's all these factors come into it, but I think, the coverage in some respects has only started now, and they've got to 30,000. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's generally that week where there's a bit more chat about it. And I think, sometimes you feel like you're selling. I think it's genuinely going to be a very good game on Sunday. There's good young players involved, good players. I think there'll be future internationals involved in that game on Sunday, definitely. So, good game to go to, I think, yeah.
Also great value as well. Not that I'm selling it either. It sounds like an ad every time I say this.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
World-class stadium. It should be a very good game, and it's live football. So, for instance, if you're a family of four and you're priced out of going to see an Ireland match, or these trips are expensive, you can get a family ticket, which is 2 adults, 2 children, for €30.
Yeah. No, it is a good deal.
Good Sunday.
Particularly, but when they move to the Aviva first, I would say, and the fact that the sales are quite good now, that first year, the 36,000 one, I'm pretty sure they made tickets €5 or €10 a pop. And the stadium had just opened then, and a big part of that, yes, it was 2 well-supported clubs, but there was also an element of very few people had gone to the Aviva at that stage yet, and there was an element. But just for context here, for this 30,000 figure, like when Pats won the Cup in 2014, I think the Cup final attendance was 17,000. And a couple of the games, 2012, 13, 14, there was games that were 17, 21, and all of a sudden it's had a bit of a mini revival, and maybe it's a post-pandemic going to crowds, maybe it's the Bows have done a lot of work on Pats, and it's the first All-Dublin final since 2000. Bows and Pats have never played in an FAI Cup final before, even though It's not as if there's like 40 clubs in the league who are generally swapping. Like, it's a small league in terms of even clubs at the top. And Bows and Pats, in the long history of the FAI Cup, have never played in a final. Yeah. And I think, it's for some reason, I think it's really captured the imagination and can hopefully do more so between now and the weekend.
Well, we chatted to Brian Kerr earlier on in the show about all things Pats, his lifelong love affair with Pats, his 10 years managing the club when he won 2 league titles. And one of the great quotes I found doing research for the piece was from Dave Henderson, goalkeeper, big character.
Yes.
People in Irish football know Dave Henderson, and he'd been around the block, and this was the title-winning season 1990, the first win under Kerr. Their first win since 1956, I think, as well. It was a big old drought. So Henderson said of this dressing room, it was the maddest dressing room I was ever in. Not mad, funny mad. We didn't do things that were the norm. Like in the dressing room at Harold's Cross, which is where they were playing their games at that time. There was this adjoining room to the opposition's dressing room. Kerr would have Nudger, that's his assistant, Paul Nugent, eavesdropping in on their team talks. Suddenly you'd get this shush. You were told to keep quiet. Nudger was listening to the opposition team talk.
Yeah, I mean, like Dave Henderson is such a big character. I think a couple of years back, Brian Kerr, when he was doing a column with the Indo, did an amazing piece around the time in Harold's Cross, because I think people who study, you can, if you want to go down a YouTube black hole, which is obviously sometimes people like to do of an evening, you can disappear. If you were to look up St Patrick's Athletic 1990 highlights, or even the games in the late 80s, I mean, like, Harold's Cross is the Greyhound track, as people know, and I mean, it wasn't in great nick. And there's a great one of the subs bench, the technical area, as they would call it now, and it's just Kerr and a couple of, and it's like sort of 4 people crowded into the back of a Mini or something. Like they were all just crammed together into this small little cubbyhole style bench, and there's no romance in it. Sorry, there is romance in this, but there's no glory in it to a degree. Like, Sunday afternoons, pouring rain, Greyhound track around the place, probably some dirt arising from the participants there.
Let me tell you, he was saying one of the reasons they were leaving Richmond for that time, there was financial difficulties as well, and they were trying to upgrade the stadium. And the pitch, there was a 6-foot slope from one goal line to the other, a 6-foot hill, 6-foot incline, which they got sorted out from a landscaper.
I mean, the Brandywell now in Derry, it's gone now because they've changed that and it's a hybrid pitch, but that had a famous slope as well too.
Somebody texting about that.
Yeah, did they really? Yeah, no, that was like a notorious one. It's like sort of uphill and downhill. I think most people can relate to that, maybe at schoolboy level or something. You play on some pitches where we're uphill in the second half here. It's a bit of a struggle. Like if you're playing out wide or something. Yeah, I heard someone text today and I did not know that at all.
Yeah, I'd heard that.
One of the Premier League grounds I've not visited, so I didn't get that.
Yeah. Well, you can podcast the Brian Kerr chat. Just to even things up tomorrow, we had Pats tonight. Tomorrow it's Bows. So naturally, Johnny Logan.
I mean, this is terrific. This is terrific.
I'm so excited to interview Johnny Logan.
I mean,
I'm going to Johnny Bows. Okay, enough about that. Let's talk about your career.
Where do you go with Johnny Logan? I once walked back through Dublin Airport.
Sorry, where do you go with Johnny Logan? Tell me.
I think you can probably go there with the chat. I mean, I guess there's probably people listening to this who are sort of like, what? Johnny, what's another year? Hold Me Now, Johnny Logan. Yes. But Hold Me Now has been adopted as an anthem by Bows fans, which I think the origins date back to a European game, I think in the early 2000s. You'll probably get the whole backstory of it tomorrow. That Johnny Logan just became a sort of the song. The song came first, and then all of a sudden Logan latched onto it. But I mean, he would have appeared back at a Kevin Hunt's testimonial sort of walk, and he appeared. I think Richie mentioned earlier he appeared before the cup final in 2008 with one of the guys from Teenage Kicks on the other, or from the Undertones on the other side. Yeah. But it is a real thing. Like I mentioned to a couple of lads outside, I was at I think, again, it was the late 2000s. I think it was a testimonial dinner for one of the Bows players that retired. I think it was Owen Heary, or it was an event around a Bows legend of some description, and it was in some hotel in town. And again, like the party piece act was, you'd have your dinner, your sit-down dinner, and then the music played, and this doors fling open, and it's Logan. Johnny Logan has arrived for this Bows gig, and there was up on stage doing like a wedding band style Hold Me Now, and then a dance version of What's Another Year.
Tell you what, the man can sing.
I mean, a powerful figure.
Yeah.
But I remember, I walked behind him through Dublin Airport a couple of years back. You know, you were into arrivals, and
For how long?
This actual, just 20 to 25 minutes. It got a bit bad when we got to car park 5, obviously. but no, this sort of presence walking through, and he sort of got
dressed all in white.
Definitely, there was a thing. Is like, it wasn't just regular guy morphing into the crowd coming back. There was a presence there. He wasn't your average guy getting off to the 920 from Stansted or something.
You know what that's called then? Star quality.
Absolute star quality. So I was behind him going through the passports, and you could just see him holding up the passport, and there was a little pause from the person, and he maybe left his passport up a little bit long too, and then there was a bit of, Johnny,
welcome home, Mr.
Welcome
Logan.
home, Mr. Logan. We've been expecting you. You know, so I'm delighted to hear you've got him on. I'm just very interested to see where you take it.
Well, I'm also curious to see
First
where
2 or 3 minutes, I can see where it goes. It's minutes 3 to 6. I'd be curious about. You know,
Loy meets
6
Logan.
to 10. Yeah.
It's where the whole career's been headed.
I'm not sure. I think he's spoken a bit about it before, but
he has, yeah.
But at the same time, like, just with the passing of time, must have been a bit of a strange one for this to pop up. But I mean, the Hold Me Now at Daily Mount, it can be pretty good. I mean, it's a real, like, there's a lot of people have learned the words of that song who probably otherwise wouldn't have ever known it.
Absolute tune as well.
Yeah, and they play Spandau Ballet Gold every time they score a goal as well, with a Bose theme as well.
Bose want to be careful they don't become too hipster.
Well, I mean, that shark has jumped.
Yeah, okay.
To be clear.
Fair point.
But I mean,
fair point.
They've embraced it now, and they've made it work. So
Barcelona and Benfica are 0-0. Bayern in that group 2-1 winners against Dynamo Kiev. As for Chelsea, I can see them celebrating in the corner against Juventus. They were 1-0 up courtesy of Reece James. Very comprehensive, dominant Chelsea performance. Manchester United are going to have their work cut out there on Sunday. Thomas Tuchel sitting back. We're waiting the replay. It's Chelsea in possession here. Rudiger and gives it out wide to Chilwell. I mean, you just know the Chelsea shape straight away. And the ball goes into the area, comes to Reece James at the back post,
Finish.
and that's an outrageous finish.
the Premier League clubs are just all pretty good at the moment, really, aren't they?
This guy scores a lot of great goals. Reece James, his second of the night, he chests it down. He's at a really tough angle, and he's under pressure as well from a Juventus player who's sliding in on top of him, and he knows the tackle's coming. And so often a defender will skew that or slice it or put it over the bar. He drills it low, and too much power on it for the keeper.
It's perfect. He actually
goal.
did. He found the area that he needed to find.
Yeah.
Like, that was a perfect execution. But
Really good.
The Premier League clubs are so good at the moment. I mean, aren't they really? I don't think I recall them ever being as good. I know there was all Premier League finals, but I'm not sure if I recall. I could be wrong.
No,
I'm
you're
not sure
right.
if I recall them being as devastating in terms of how they blitzed their way through it. You know, they got to finals, but it wasn't always. They were sort of at times had to get through these epic two-legged ties to make it happen.
Yeah.
Now it's different. I mean, I'm not sure if it's entirely healthy, like the extent of it.
No, but they are.
They
this
are
is a
enjoyable
golden
to
age.
watch.
Golden
Yeah, no, it
age.
really is. Yeah.
Premier League's so good at the moment. All the best managers are in the Premier League effectively as well.
But I mean, some would say it's just the natural concentration of that power and the wealth, and it's not going to change. Like you saw last week, was it the American TV rights deal? It was announced,
NBC,
the overseas,
$4 billion.
Unbelievable. And this is unfortunately, like, that's what drives the Super League talk with the other European clubs. As Chelsea just scored another goal as we speak.
Chelsea have just scored a 5-a-side Astro goal against Juventus.
Yeah.
Callum Hudson-Odoi, 3-0.
But I think, now
What a goal.
it's almost cemented. It's in danger of cementing now in such a way that it is going to, the likes of sort of Juventus and the Spanish superpowers, they're getting beaten so regularly.
Well, I
they're
tell
going
you
to kick up again.
how they're going to kick up another European Super League.
Well, that's what I'm saying. A version of, I mean, it may not be the same one, but it'll be a sort of a slight variation on the general theme.
Will they be able to beat the marketing of the first one, though? I mean, that was
No,
such
I don't
a
think they
sweet
will,
job. Such
but
a sweet job.
No, I mean, no. This is it. No, I think I think maybe I thought, did we not hear initially they had some great expertise behind that still and didn't really deliver. I mean, and they did get the Premier League clubs with them too, but now it's almost as you just feel like it's an inevitable issue coming down the tracks again. But I mean, they are.
Well, the Chelsea goal against Juventus here, this third one, it's just men against boys territory. Anyway, to matters at hand, that was quite the tangent there as we kick things off. Manchester United in action against Villarreal this evening. Dave McIntyre joined us and talked a lot about the game. If you've been listening to the podcast of the football show, you'll have heard Dave, so we don't need to rehash all of that. It was okay. it was okay, Manchester United. It was 2-0 win. That puts a sheen on the performance. First half was drab. There was an odd tactical effort on Michael Carrick's behalf for the first 20 minutes, whereby in possession they were a 4-3-3. So the back four was Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire, Alex Tellez was in, and then it was McTominay and Fred and Van de Beek with them, no Bruno, and then it was Sancho, Martial through the middle and Ronaldo on the left. That was them with the ball. But then without the ball, needless to say, Ronaldo on the left is a disaster. So Fred has to leg it out to the left-hand touchline. Van de Beek drops back in alongside McTominay. Sancho goes right wing. Ronaldo pushes in with Martial, and it's a 4-4-2 suddenly. And there was lots for the first 20 minutes of, no, you go there. No, I'm here. I'm on him. And it wasn't very good. And in the end, he moved Martial left and went 4-5-1, and things were a bit better. Anyway, BT Sport were on the case. So pre-match, Scholesy, who I think has had a good 2 months. Certain pundits have struggled with the Ole situation.
Yeah.
Scholesy was fairly much
most
on
stories,
point.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Football-wise, yeah.
Yeah. The toe thing.
It's just, do you know, I don't really have any more follow-up comments on the toe thing, really. It's just, I mean, you'd rather not have seen things.
I don't know what to say about it.
I don't really know what, like, it's not really something you can have a sort of a 5-minute discussion about.
No.
I mean, what do you say? Social media, eh?
Yeah.
You know?
And the internet never forgets. That's what you say about it now.
It's the permanence of it.
Yeah. You're just reduced to,
I mean, it's
the toe
nobody's
thing.
business, and I mean, even
Well, they made it people's
we
business.
cheapened ourselves by even talking about it, but yet, I mean, it's one of those things that because you've seen it, you can't help but reference it.
To be fair, in a genuine way, I said Scholesy's had a very good 2 months, and you said, well, on the football, because the first thing you thought of.
To be clear, I cheapened it. But then you embraced it and invited a further debate on the subject.
If you don't know what we're talking about, do you know what, you're better off?
Don't find out.
Yeah, Scholesy's had a good 2 months. This was him pre-match, and it was kind of an interesting observation, like just the difficulty facing Carrick and Kieran McKenna, and Darren Fletcher was on the sideline today, interestingly, and the difficulty for them at the moment.
It's the same people running the team. It's the same people who've been given massive responsibility every single week to put that team on the pitch. Arguably, it's more Kieran McKenna and Michael Carrick who's been preparing the team. Ollie gives them that responsibility to do that. So how that changes now, I don't know. And I think in preparation, we talk about people above the manager. 4 weeks ago, that Liverpool game, that was the time. It was the time that we knew that Ollie was going to go. Look, it was plainly obvious. So then the people above had to prepare the next batch, the next manager, the next batch of staff. I'd be almost embarrassed being on the staff now after what happened to Ollie. Being on the staff, preparing the team for this game tonight, I think they all should have gone, whether it was sacked or they go off their own back, because they were part of Ollie's team. Ollie trusted them each week to prepare a team for games, and they've let the club down, they've let the players down, just as much as Ollie has. So,
at that point there about walking around as one of the coaches who was on this in the regime before under Ollie, it would be a hard couple of days. That the first meeting, like there's the focus and the attention from that squad on right. What's your next move? What's your first few words out of your mouth? That'll determine which way we go. We're going to follow you, or we're still going to see you as one of the people that was under Ollie that didn't work before. It's a huge moment.
What can they do differently, Real?
I don't know.
Well, he changed the team tonight. He's made four changes, including taking out Bruno Fernandes, which I guess is a statement. But
sorry, you know when you went in, didn't you? With Giggsy and Nicky Butt. You was coaching. Ryan was taking the team, was the manager. Did you have a big say in what went on in terms of the team selection?
We give our thoughts. Of course we do to Ryan. You have to give your thoughts to him. But he was in charge. You got the impression... Well, I knew he was in charge. Whenever something major on the training field needed to be done, whether it was team shape, then Ryan did it. You knew he was in charge. He was going to pick the final team. I get the impression with Ollie, you put a lot of trust into Michael. You put a lot of trust into Kieran, a lot of trust into Mike Phelan, which is why...
Yeah.
They shouldn't be at the club now, I don't think. And I've got good friends there. Michael's a good friend, Darren Fletcher, Mike Phelan. I've worked with these people. I just think if I was in their position now, I'd be feeling guilty working at this football club still, while Ollie put so much trust in them.
So that was Scholes pre-match. Hard to disagree with them. The club would say, well, we have to have someone in charge.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not so sure. Like, we'll see what happens if and when they appoint a new manager and what happens. I mean, it's pretty standard for the assistants to remain on to take the next game afterwards. You know, even like Mick McCarthy and Terry Connor spring to mind, they were inseparable and they have remained so. But Terry Connor ended up taking Wolves for like 4 or 5 months after McCarthy left. Do you know? I wouldn't see that as a big thing. If they're still there maybe in a month's time and they are the entire number 2, number 3, number 4 team to if they appoint someone else, maybe so. But the short term, I'm not so sure.
Michael Carrick went for the suit this evening. He's managing it.
You think that's a statement?
Well,
it is a thing, I suppose. Yeah, you are sort of, you know. But they were. Was he always a tracksuit man on the sideline when he was there? Was he all the time?
First suit.
Have you watched his wardrobe closely? Can you stand over this? Has he been?
Yeah.
Do you have a little tracksuit, little thing you tick off today?
Yeah,
Carrick, McKenna. You know,
Mike Phelan.
Fill in. Tracksuit. Definitely tracksuit.
I'd be really sure.
Okay. I thought there was times that there a couple of them were dressed smartly enough in the silent. Could be wrong.
You're scaring me now. So speaking to Des Kelly full time, here was Michael Carrick.
Is that the reaction and the response that you wanted to see tonight?
Yeah, of course. We came in to win the game. I spoke to you before the game, Taz, and we said we've come here to win the game. I believe we would. I believe we were ready for it tonight, and it proved to be the case. It wasn't an easy game, by the way. It was a tough game. They were a good team, and for those who don't probably watch them that much, don't really understand it or don't see it. But they're a good team. They make you work in possession. They're a good team, and I thought the boys dug in tonight at times, had to dig in at times, and showed a little bit of everything. So I was delighted the way it ended up.
Yeah, it wasn't particularly pretty in that first half, but that wasn't the point, was it? I suppose that there's a lot. The emphasis was trying to get into half-time without conceding a goal and bringing back some of the confidence.
Yeah, let's be honest. I don't think we could have hoped for it to come out here and play pretty football from the word go. You know, when you've suffered results-wise and you're not in a great vein of form and individually and as a team, then it's not easy to come out and just let everything click. And in some ways, it was the best way to win for me. That we had to show some character, we had to dig in, we had to fight. We went our way at times, didn't go away at the others, and the game would look like at times it was drifting away from us. We were after half time, and then we got back together again, and the subs made a massive impact and towards the end. So it had a bit of everything, and that's all I could hope for. The boys give everything.
Yeah, it was like a classic European tie, wasn't it? You hold on for an hour and then chase the game in the end, and with your 2 trump cards. And of course, Ronaldo delivers, always does, doesn't he?
Yeah, Fred's done fantastic. To be fair, Fred's done what Fred does. Yeah, he's done fantastic and won that ball back, which we wanted to. We look for that. And yeah, Ronaldo, when he gets that chance, puts it away, so takes another one for him on his list. But to finish it off with Jayden was brilliant. I know how much Jayden loves the ball at his feet and trying to make things happen. It's where he's the happiest. But I thought the other side of the game from him tonight, he put a real effort in defensively for us when we needed it. And yeah, it was a big night for him.
What's it like being in charge? Did you enjoy it? You were pretty calm on the touchline. Jadon Sancho missed the chance, so I saw you get animated at, no, of course, the celebrations. But have you enjoyed it today?
I have enjoyed it. Yeah, I must admit, I've really enjoyed it. No, I enjoyed the whole thing. I think the support I've had. I said to the players, the support. It's not been an easy couple of days for everyone at the club. And I can enjoy it so much, but at the same point, it's still that result almost feels like it's for Ollie, you know, and I can't get away from that. But yeah, we had a job to do. Without kind of dwelling on it, we had a job to do, and when I was there and things needed to be taken care of, I was happy to do it, and thankfully it all went to plan in the end.
Fred, by the way, won possession both times for the 2 United goals, and I think in fairness to Carrick, that's fair comment. You couldn't expect them to come out and be brilliant given everything that's gone on. I mean, really, they've had a warm down session, a recovery session on the Sunday after their manager was sacked, and then Monday's a flight to Spain, and suddenly they're playing a match. They will have 4 days now, 4 full days to prepare for Stamford Bridge. Sancho was the big winner for them this evening. He actually looked fit, I think, for the first time this season.
Yeah.
Like a bit of kind of pep in his step.
He scored the goal, and you actually forget that there was a time back in August or July, August, pre-Ronaldo, where like the big talking point around recruitment was, well, Sancho's been signed as part of this plan, and then he sort of faded from sight.
Yeah,
mind you, like that was the discussions people were having.
I don't think he was fit at the start of the season. He didn't look.
But he had a bit of the Euros.
Buzz about him. Yeah, and he didn't even really feature in the Euros. You wonder, was that a demoralising time for him? You know.
Yeah.
One last BT thing. So I mean, just giving people the story of the evening. You could hear there, Des Kelly. Did you enjoy it tonight, Michael? It's starting to inch towards a delicate territory.
Is there anyone out there who hasn't made a joke yet about put the digits, put the numbers in the contract? I think I flicked open Twitter and around 20 people had made the same joke.
To be fair, at one point, Jake Humphrey said to Rio, "Look, Michael's at the wheel now," and Rio even was, well, look. Let's not go there.
That's his legacy now. That's your legacy.
I mean, the BT studio played a role, not the role. I mean, he won 14 and 17 matches to start things off. They played a role in putting the pressure on the board to sign this guy up. So I just felt they were for me, Dan, they were starting to talk themselves just a touch into the, could Carrick do it? He looked well in the suit. And he was calm. Des said he was calm. They were just starting to inch that way, and Hargreaves is about to, make the point, look, if Michael keeps winning, if Michael keeps winning.
I mean, it is the question.
But hang on.
What else do you ask?
Step forward. Our favourite pundit, who put everyone straight, looked at Rio and said, not on my watch. This is not happening again. So have a listen here. Just as the BT Sport is starting to get a bit sketchy.
No? Could you see him getting the job to the end of the season or beyond?
I think United will be looking to see how the team reacts and how they play. Today's a good step. Look, if he's winning, like Ole, nobody really anticipated Ole going to get the job full time, but because the results and performances was there, they did it, whether it was the right thing to do or not, but they did that. And if Mike keeps winning games and keeping clean sheets and climbs them up the table, then they'll look at that. They have to.
This is Man United.
I think one thing's certain.
You've got to have the very best in charge. Michael Carrick, look, he's a coach. He's had one game in charge. As a manager of Manchester United, no experience anywhere else. He honestly can't. As much as I like the lad, they cannot appoint. They need the very best, whether it's the very best who's available as an interim or the very best who's available full-time.
Restoring order.
I mean, he's right, though, isn't
he? I can't believe the drift.
I don't know, Joe, though.
In that panel.
Did you buy into Ole's journey a bit?
Oh, yeah.
The term of journey.
Yeah. So I think Ole did lots of very good things.
What if Carrick goes to Chelsea and wins on Sunday?
No.
Do you buy into the journey then?
No. Things were so bad under Mourinho, and Solskjaer came in and, in fairness, did phenomenally well at the start. And then he did so well at the start, you almost had to say, well, you kind of have to see where it's going to go. And I thought the recruitment improved massively. And
no, I can see how it happened.
And Europa League final could have gone a different way. They finished second, albeit with Liverpool gone off a cliff. It wasn't an unmitigated disaster for a long time. It's just this season, really, the backside fell out of it.
Yeah, no, I do see that point.
Don't turn this around on me.
To be honest, I'm actually sort of just relieved he's gone, Ole. I think that it was the most recurring, repetitive debate of recent memory. Do you know what I mean? It got to the stage where it was like, oh no, not this again.
It's like you're inside my head the last couple of weeks at work.
It's just like, he'll be okay. He got a good run at it. He actually managed to leave an exit interview. He wasn't chased out with people sort of outside his home protesting.
Yeah.
It's as good an ending as it's in the top couple of endings for players, managers leaving clubs of that size, I would have thought, and he'll have no issues going back there in future. So I am sort of glad we're sort of past it. We get to the stage where it's not necessarily going to be every week now.
No, it was over at the Liverpool game.
It was.
That's when it was over.
Yeah, they dragged it out.
So, look, that's enough on Manchester United. Just to give you the update on Pochettino. So he's at a press conference today in advance of the game against Man City tomorrow. Claims everything is good in Paris. Although he did say things happen in football.
I mean, they do.
That's
that's a pretty important get-out clause left in there. Things happen, in particular at PSG.
Jonathan Johnson, who covers French football, said things very strained at the moment. Pochettino on a day-to-day basis at PSG, notably with Leonardo. Things are strained. Leonardo doesn't seem to get on with anyone. He regularly avoids speaking French where possible. This is Pochettino. It's felt that in some quarters, this is a minimal effort being made on his part. And also, his family aren't based in Paris. So, quite a few things maybe on Poch's mind. And the club also, by the reporting of Melissa Reddy, huge admirers of Zidane. He wants to go to Parc des Princes. Pochettino is open to a mid-season move. They're 11 points clear in Ligue 1.
Nice timing.
I mean, there's a bizarre set of circumstances here which don't too often arise where everybody could feel happy enough.
Playing Man City as well is just perfect, really. Just for the news cycle, it's a dream.
Yeah, Manchester journalists crammed into the press conference.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a present.
We're going to take a short break. We've loads more to talk about. Zlatan, very interesting interview. Cup final this weekend. Situation at Waterford catches the eye. So we're back in just one moment. Dan McDonnell staying with us. Chelsea still 3-0 up on Juve.
Football on Off the Ball.
With Sky, proud partner and supporter of the Republic of Ireland women's national football team.
This is News Talk. Hate missing out? News Talk Extra is news, entertainment and all the latest podcasts. Plus expert tips and competitions straight to your inbox. Subscribe now at newstalk.com/extra.
We've all heard about the energy crisis and that gas and electricity prices have significantly increased. In fact, the average household could be spending €500 more than last year if they haven't switched to a better deal in over 12 months. The good news is that bonkers.ie compares all 14 electricity and 8 gas suppliers to find the very best tariff for you, so you can switch to a better deal in just minutes with bonkers.ie, putting hundreds of euro back in your pocket. It's easy, it's free, it's bonkers.ie.
Meet Seamus. He and his wife are driving in their new Citroën C5 Aircross SUV to her birthday dinner, which he forgot in a restaurant that she had to book. She married a cliché. This could be a very uncomfortable drive. Except the Citroën C5 Aircross SUV comes with advanced comfort seating and progressive hydraulic cushion suspension, making it a very comfortable drive indeed. Citroën, engineered for comfort. See citroen.ie.
This season, Live Score is the only place where you can watch every single UEFA Champions League game for free. That means more goals, more unforgettable drama, more end-to-end action. And whether you're watching on your phone or tablet or casting to your TV, the free Live Score app gives you even more ways to watch. Live Score, the new home of the UEFA Champions League. It's more than a score. Download now on the App Store or Google Play.
Everyone is talking about the Opinions Matter podcast with Adrian Kennedy and Jeremy Dixon. It's one of the biggest podcasts in Ireland. But don't take our word for it. Here's what the listeners have to say.
It's off the chart. Anything can go. Good, bad or indifferent.
At least you can force on this podcast.
Yes, it's these two Muppets do me head in. But you gotta love the show.
I love the way they fight and they bicker like a couple that's been married for years.
You can find new episodes of this podcast on the Go Loud app. Download, listen and subscribe now on the Go Loud app.
Whatever your age or lifestyle, Vitabiotics vitamin range helps you be at your best with easy and effective nutritional support. From well man and well woman to well baby and well kid, there's a vitamin for everyone that will help boost the immune system. Vitabiotics vitamin range, available from your local pharmacy or online. Vitabiotics, the science of healthy living.
It's here. The Black Friday sale at Harvey Norman. Don't wait. Get Black Friday discounts today. Save €160 on the Samsung 8kg washing machine with 5-year warranty. Now only $439. Or get the Sage Barista Express Espresso coffee machine. Now $569. Save €80. And at Harvey Norman, we're matching all competitors' Black Friday prices, so why shop anywhere else? Now's the time to buy, in-store or online. The Harvey Norman Black Friday sale.
We wake. I walk from this nowhere to that nowhere. I am seen, I am ignored, I am scared. I am sad in my heart and in my bones. I find no comfort in the cold city stone. I sit myself down, I curl myself up. I am homeless, and Dublin is my home.
No one should be homeless when Dublin is their home. Please help. Donate to Dublin Simon at dubsimon.ie.
Football on Off the Ball.
With Sky, all the football you love in one place. Across Sky Sports, BT Sport and Premier Sports.
Now, you're welcome back. So we are keeping an eye on the Champions League for you, as per. Chelsea 3-0 up at home to Juventus. Just want to check on Barcelona and see how they're doing at home to Benfica. Given that they have Bayern in their last game, this is pretty important for Barcelona. They're still 0-0 with 15 minutes to go. Xavi, of course, on the sidelines. So, Dan, we'll come to Zlatan's interview with Donald McRae in just a second. It was quite interesting. But first, the situation at Waterford caught the eye today. Eventful.
First thing this morning, Joe.
Mark Bircham, manager, and Waterford FC owner Richard Forrest. The situation at Waterford, by the way, if you're not a massive League of Ireland fan, in effect, is that Waterford have a massive game in about 3 days' time.
Friday,
it's a promotion relegation playoff with UCD to see who gets into the Premier Division next year. And it's at Richmond Park on Friday. So that's a big deal, to say the least. 7:53 a.m. on Twitter, Bircham claimed he had been handed a week-long suspension following disagreement about a few things with the club's owner, Richard Forrest, the previous evening. Okay, odd, caught the eye. 40 minutes later, Waterford issue a statement to the effect that they have terminated the contract of Mark Bircham, and the club will be making no further comment at this time. Turns out that was the first Bircham knew he'd been relieved of his duties. He said, I put out a statement which I thought was perfectly fine, just stating facts, letting everyone know I wasn't there and I won't be at the game. And then I found out in social media that they terminated the contract. Nobody has contacted me whatsoever. So, what's going on here?
Yeah, and then, I mean, Mark Bircham across the day, he was retweeting various messages from people.
Saying nice things about Waterford owner?
Not quite, no. Lee Bircham, I think it might be a family member. Not even Sky One's dream team would try to do this storyline with a follow-up comment or two. And comments of that nature, of sort of people, retweeting comments that he'd been sacked for letting fans know he's suspended. Surely not. Now, there was a subsequent statement from Richard Forrest where he said he was backed into a corner.
He's the owner.
The owner. But didn't really elaborate and didn't really shed any light on the reasons. I mean, the people who were sort of dropping into it, like, well, hang on, why is he gone? And that question hasn't really been answered. Like, why were they arguing over the weekend? Because from my perspective, right, Mark Bircham was appointed in May. I think he was Waterford's 5th manager in less than a year. Richard Forrest came in afterwards as a new owner. And Waterford have had a sort of chaotic run in recent memory. People might remember John Sheridan was there briefly. Kevin Sheedy and Mike Newell were there briefly earlier in the season. There'd been a lot of sort of turbulence there. And it actually did seem like under a new owner and a new manager, Mark Bircham signed a 2.5-year contract in August, and their results have been really good. Like they very nearly avoided automatic relegation, the promotion relegation playoff, having started from a really low base. Like, some people were saying Mark Bircham was a manager of the year contender for what he did. And there seemed almost to be a quite united front in terms of they had issues with referees, and there was almost a siege mentality. The crowds were good, and there was a sense of this. They got to the cup semi-finals, they lost a bit of, injury time goal, a bit hard done by, and you feel like this club's pushing in the right way. And yet it's only today, I mean, I was completely taken by surprise by this. Probably just hadn't been following things in Waterford that closely. But you make some inquiries today and you realise that no, there had been tensions over the last period of time there. It's hard to say for sure what was the tipping point that led to this happening, but there have been tensions there. I mean, people would have noted on Friday that Waterford played St Patrick's Athletic, the last game of the season, where if Waterford won the game, they had a chance of staying up. As it happened, they didn't, because Finn Harps won their match. But they went into the last day with the chance. It was a really big game. And it was noted that they only had 4 subs on the bench, 2 of whom were goalkeepers. And there was a couple of suspensions and stuff, and that was a source of comment. Bircham, after the game, made comments to the effect that he was hoping to get some underage players to fill up the bench. That wasn't possible. There was a social media post from the Waterford Academy, which was subsequently deleted, which seemed to be questioning claims around that. And from making some inquiries, I think it would be fair to say that there would have been some tensions in that department between various sections of the club. Okay. But in saying that, and maybe 1 or 2 other issues around the team and stuff that it's quite hard to go into in real detail, but from getting a vibe of how players and people feel today, as much as they know that maybe things weren't rosy in the garden, as much as they know that the chances of Bircham maybe staying beyond the end of the season possibly questionable, but that they just couldn't get past this. Their season ends on Friday. They've been doing reasonably well. A couple of disappointing results recently, but nothing too bad. It'll be a big event this week. Regroup. They'll be favourites to win the game. Okay. Stay up. Yeah. And you're grand. Yeah. And now all of a sudden they're in crisis, and they could go down. And if they go down, you'd have to say it will probably be because how this is unfolded this week. So
very messy.
It's very messy, and it feels unnecessarily messy until we hear something to the contrary. But I certainly haven't heard today some sort of smoke and gun story that explains why this had to happen now. It just looks like, probably from all sides to some degree, short tempers led to an unnecessary conclusion.
Yeah. Well, it seems like tweet in the morning was seen, and then it was, well, I'll really show him.
And in fairness, I suppose Bertram is big into social media, and some of his players, and the owner in particular as well. They've done a lot of their stuff on social media, and as a result, the fact that the conclusion has effectively come on social media, I mean, you could say it's fitting, but when you've been quite open and talking about stuff, now the chairman obviously, the owner, I should say the owner, Richard Forrest, is getting comments, well, why aren't you saying anything now? And it's just all become so petty and so daft when it looked like that club, which has huge potential, was getting itself on a steady footing again.
They've got a city to themselves.
They do. There's such potential there, and potential. They need to move beyond. But they've had a lot of headlines like this in the last couple of years, and this week they just didn't need it.
No,
they didn't need it.
Our football coverage is with thanks to Sky, wishing the Irish women's team the best of luck in their World Cup qualifier against Slovakia, which of course will also be live on Off the Ball at 7 o'clock this Thursday. Zlatan. So Donald McRae generally does very interesting interviews, and when you saw Donald was meeting up with Zlatan in Milan, you thought to yourself, okay, I'll have a look at this. Lots of good stuff. This, one of the lines which made headlines is he was asked about Manchester United and his time there and what he felt about the club. In just one line, it was rather damning, but he neatly summed up maybe the situation post Ferguson. He said they talk in the past tense a lot.
Yeah,
which I thought,
I mean, it cuts to the heart of the matter.
Really, I mean, that's all I need to say.
Yeah.
And throughout the interview, Zlatan talks at length about how much he wants to live in the present tense. So where is Zlatan in his life, if you've lost track ever so slightly? He's at Milan. He was playing at the weekend. He scored 2 and set up a third. Now, they lost 4-3. They're a very young team. They're second in the table behind Napoli, but scored 2, set up a third. You would have been entitled to think when he went to LA Galaxy for 2 years that he was probably staying out there or China or beyond. But he's back and doing it at Milan. 40 years of age. In terms of maintaining his playing ability, it's not easy. Every day I wake up, I have pain everywhere, is what he said about doing it at 40. Seems to hate social media. This is a recurring theme in the interview. Hates young people getting things a bit easier because they put it up on social media and they get attention, and actually in his day you have to do a hell of a lot more to get that kind of attention. He says, I don't have problems suffering. For me to suffer is like breakfast. Reminding me of you, that attitude, you know.
Really?
No. But many people don't understand suffering because the new generation with all these platforms have to do little to get credit. The generation before that, you had to do a lot to get little. I'm proud to come from the old generation.
Yeah. Do you think though, like when Zlatan was younger, would he have been viewed as sort of a
love start,
bit of the swagger?
Yeah, of course.
I think every generation tends to romanticise the hardship of their younger days.
True.
People always say there's no characters in the game anymore, but they said that 20 years ago too.
True.
And in 20 years' time, someone will say there's no characters in the game like Pogba or something, like there was in my day.
I do think it is truer now than it was a generation
No, it
ago.
is, but it's definitely something that tends to be
100%.
tends to be said. But I think
sure sign we're all getting old.
yeah, well, that's true. Like Zlatan at Milan is a great story. Like it actually is. That he kind of had this lingering flat track bully thing hanging over him at various stages of his career, and even going to LA Galaxy and scoring loads of goals. And this sort of second coming at Milan, and I've watched him, and I mean, one of the weird things in 2020 was being able to watch him play in Tala behind closed doors, which when I think about it now was a great thing to be able to do.
A good day at the office.
It was, but even I've watched, like, anytime I've watched him subsequently, I just flicked on a Serie A game recently, and he's still integral to a lot of what they do. And I think, Zlatan had I feel like his reputation, these guys who play on till they're into their sort of 39, 40, when you see Wes Hoolahan still playing with Cambridge, getting applauded off the pitch by the opposing fans on Saturday, like, he's amazing.
I had a single tear down my face when I saw that.
But like Zlatan is doing it in Serie A.
Yeah.
I mean, it is incredible.
It is incredible.
And for those, I think the Rovers players, like, they just had, they played against him, but they all actually ended up quite liking him. I think, that he had this sort of presence on the pitch, but he wasn't sort of like like massively disrespectful, although he did famously cut down Joey O'Brien spectacularly in that game.
Yeah, remind me.
Because I think Joey O'Brien at one stage, because Rovers were quite competitive in the game, but they lost 2-0. But Joey O'Brien had this moment where I think he sort of like, he did a little step over and switched to play, and Zlatan was caught going one way. And even though there was no one in the ground apart from the players and maybe some staff, there was a little bit of a and he's done it to Zlatan. So apparently Zlatan turned to him and said, "Don't worry, when you retire, you can tend to my garden in Los Angeles." And like Joey O'Brien has subsequently acknowledged this story to be true and found it quite funny. But it was delivered apparently in such a way that everyone sort of enjoyed it, as opposed to thinking, "Oh, this lad,"
Because you're walking a tightrope with a line like that.
It is, but if he can deliver it in the right way, and you just know that, in fairness, and Joey O'Brien had a really good career. I mean, of all the Rovers players, I mean, he's the one that has played Premier League, with and against like some great players, but still, Zlatan can get away with that.
I went off Zlatan for a while when he published his autobiography, and it was fantastic.
But that wasn't
so many anecdotes, and I bought into it, and I must have repeated those anecdotes 100 times on radio at different points. And then author and Zlatan came out and said, we kind of made a lot of that stuff up. Isn't that funny? And I thought,
well, I didn't find it funny because I was
it's really not funny, because the stories aren't quite brilliant enough to be good fiction. They're just about good enough to be really good reality. So I kind of thought, what was the point of this?
Well, I was at I'm going a bit golden cleric here, but I remember being over at the British Book Awards, and I was ghostwritten Keith Gillespie's autobiography, which was shortlisted in the Best Autobiography Award, and got done by Zlatan. And everyone, amazing autobiography, to be fair. They're at the table, like some of the other publishing people were at the table celebrating. Then a couple of months later, you're like, that wasn't even
real.
That wasn't even real.
But they came out and said it like, guess what? We made all that stuff up.
Yeah. Actually, thanks for bringing that up again.
It's odd. No, like I really, for a good 2 years after that, I really just thought, I'm not sure about you, but I'm back on side.
I mean, that's a bit of a, when you think about it, like that is the type of thing that the previous generation would have frowned upon.
True.
But now Zlatan, he is carrying himself with the authority of that senior figure. And the kids nowadays,
in a way, it's kind of melted into his overall package, and it's kind of, God, that was kind of very Zlatan, He is the pleasure of having played with the two Maldinis, father and son, playing with Daniel at the moment. He was asked about them, what are they like? He said, one is Mr. Nice Guy. I think he's talking about Daniel there, unfortunately. The other one, if he wants to kill you, he will kill you. Is what he said about Paolo. And a theme in the interviews, he's talking about giving advice to this very young Milan team. So he says, we're helping the son in every way we can. He's a big talent. I tell him, just play your game, fight, and then you will lead the way yourself. I'm happy I played against the father, and today I'm playing with the son. Maybe Daniel will have a son, as in, I'll play with that one too. Did you see his attack on Azpilicueta?
No, I didn't actually, but I feel like I want to look it up now, because that to me is the most interesting.
They're in the box waiting for either a free or a corner. It's zoomed in on the clip I saw, and Azpilicueta is just standing there, and Zlatan just barges into the back of him. Azpilicueta goes flying forward, whiplash effect, and Zlatan then just falls over as well and looks behind him as if I was pushed into Azpilicueta. He wasn't. Got a yellow card. He's going to miss the first playoff match,
which is quite costly for someone who had retired and come back.
Yeah. Well, he said the other day in the national team, Sweden playing Spain, I gave a tackle to Azpilicueta. I did it on purpose. I'm not ashamed to say it, because he did something stupid to my player, acting big to my player. There were real Roy Keane, Gary Neville vibes.
That was it in the tunnel. Maybe this is again a Zlatan sort of slight repositioning of.
Yeah, it was a stupid thing, but I would still do it to make him understand. You don't effing do that. You don't have the balls to do it against me, but I will show you what happens if you did do it to me. That's why I did it. Doesn't quite.
But it's not even the first leg of the playoff, because the playoffs are knockout.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a semi-final and a final.
Yeah.
So he's basically missing a game that if they lose it, he doesn't have a chance to be the hero in the second leg.
Did Azpilicueta say anything back? What can he say? He will not say it to me, but he will say it to my player who did nothing because he's too nice. It's not a good thing by me. I would do the same again. That's me. I'm not ashamed to say it. And McRae notes the Milan press officer scribbling furiously.
That's a tough dig, yeah.
Dan, we're out of time.
We are.
Thanks so much. Dan McDonnell of the Irish Independent, thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
Football on Off the Ball.
With Sky, proud partner and supporter of the Republic of Ireland women's national football team.
This is News Talk.
Looking to upgrade your business with a new van but not looking to compromise? Then look no further than the Ford Transit range. From the award-winning custom plug-in hybrid to the new Active, Trail and Transit 5-ton. Need a new pickup? Then check out the multi-awarded Ford Ranger. And with 2-to-1 upgrade offer, save up to €6,500 and get a low-rate APR on selected models. Ford Commercial Vehicles. Search Ford.ie. Lending criteria conditions apply. Participating dealers for selected models ordered by the 31st of December and registered by the 31st of March. Business hire purchased by Bank of Ireland Leasing Limited, trading as Ford Credit. Dealer charges may apply. Ownership remains with Ford Credit until the final payment is made. Warning, you may have to pay charges if you repay early, in full or in part, a fixed rate credit facility.
He's a Lion, he's a Grand Slam winner, he's Ireland's leading try scorer. And now you can hear him first, exclusively on the OTB Sports app.
One of my abiding memories is having my cut opened up again as I got hit by the trophy in coppers on the dance floor.
Join Brian O'Driscoll for the best insight and analysis this rugby season.
We haven't had the usual kind of grenades from Gats, that's gone, so we're creating them ourselves.
Get the jump on everyone else. Download the OTB Sports app and turn on notifications now.
The wait is over. The Black Friday sale is back at Harvey Norman. Get Black Friday discounts today across a huge range of SIM-free phones. Get the Xiaomi 11 Lite 5G NE smartphone and get a free My Smart Band 6 worth €45. And at Harvey Norman, we're matching all competitors' Black Friday prices. So why shop anywhere else? Don't wait. Now's the time to buy, in-store or online. The Harvey Norman Black Friday sale.
Describe Maynooth University in 3 words.
You're in control.
Young, bold, progressive.
Skills for life.
Gives you choice.
Feel so happy.
Choose the university that puts you first.
Best decision ever.
Virtual Open Days, November 26th and 27th. Visit openday.maynoothuniversity.ie. Maynooth University. Know no bounds.
Christmas is a time for coming together as a family, a community and a country. This year, Aware is inviting you to come together virtually to help fund our vital services supporting people impacted by depression and bipolar disorder. From December 10th to 12th, show your support by walking or running your way in the Aware Christmas 5K. You can join in wherever you are in the country, from Dingle to Donegal. Please sign up today at aware.ie and help make a real difference this Christmas. Proudly supported by Cadbury.
In the 10th century, the Vikings chose Waterford as the best place to live in Ireland for its trading potential. And in 2021, the Irish Times has chosen Waterford as the best place to live in Ireland for a whole lot more. Like its affordability, friendliness and vibrancy. The fact that it's the perfect size, neither too small or too big. Its easy access to the countryside, mountains and sea. Its rich history and culture. And as a place transforming day by day, Ireland's oldest city has never been more ready for modern Ireland living. Visit waterford2040.com for more.
Football on Off the Ball.
With Sky, all the football you love in one place. Across Sky Sports, BT Sport and Premier Sports.
Chelsea 4-0 winners in the end. Timo Werner scored their 4th in the 95th minute. Hudson-Odoi, James, Chalaboa with their 4 goals this evening. So just dominant Chelsea this evening and very impressive. Manchester United 2-0 winners. They'll play Chelsea on Sunday. We have that game live for you here on Off the Ball, by the way, and our football coverage is with thanks to Sky, wishing the Irish team the best of luck in their World Cup qualifier against Slovakia, live on Off the Ball, 7 p.m. this Thursday. OTB AM back tomorrow 7:30 as usual on all our social channels, or download the OTB Sports app in your app store. So Keith Wood will be on talking rugby, Conor McManus, the great Conor McManus, will be on talking GA, Jess Kelly's Christmas gift guide coming your way as well. Then tomorrow, Wednesday night rugby, Niamh Briggs, Rory O'Connor. Another night of Champions League action, Man City, PSG, Liverpool in action, Real Madrid in action as well. And Johnny Logan, hopefully on the football show ahead of the FAI Cup final, talking all things Bows. In the meantime, Tom Dunn on the way next.